I'm actually going to go into Blackboard and show you the submission process. But before I do, let me actually create a couple more classes here, just so you can see kind of how it'll look in the end once you have all your 4 pieces done. Unfortunately for you, it's not just this initial homework, right? You also have to do 3 other homeworks, or 3 other questions, I should say. So a little bit more work for you on your end. So let's just suppose for a moment that I had a bunch of different classes in here, right? So this is maybe how you could manage your homework, right? You could create different classes for each of the questions, right? Each of these, right? You can go in and you can compile them, but these, right? You can work on them individually, right? So over here, right? Maybe I have something else here, right? And I could do my other programming in here, put whatever I want, right? And then all my code, right, that goes for the specific question, right over here, you can see I have Q2. All that will stay over here, right? So in the end, you're going to end up with these 4 different rectangles, and each of these rectangles is representing a file. If you want to, you can actually open up Windows Explorer and go look at the BlueJ folder. So over here, I've actually already done that off to the side. So this is me just opening the BlueJ folder. For me, and it may differ for you, for me it's over in users / my login name / documents / BlueJ. So this should be the default folder where all of your work is being stored. So what you want to do, if you want to kind of see where this code actually exists on your computer, is look for your project, right? So the project we have here, we named it first assignment 1 earlier. So over here you can see that there's this assignment 1 file, or assignment 1 folder, I should say. So let me double click that. And inside here, you'll see all the files that are associated with this project. So let's sort these a little bit. Let me just touch on what each of these are really quick. So over here, the first thing we have is this package.bluej. This is kind of the overall package information, right? Saves the settings you've applied to your project. We haven't really set up anything specifically, but this is just where BlueJ would keep your settings, right, if you had to add something customized. These files down here, these first 4, these have this .class on them. This is what you get out after. This is what Java gives you after you do a compilation. These are files you need to not submit on Blackboard. Do not submit your .class files. We cannot grade them. You will not get any credit for submitting .class files. Okay. What we need is actually this stuff down here, the .java. The next thing though we have is this ctext. These are additional files from BlueJ to store some configuration stuff. Again, something you won't be submitting. What we're really looking for is these over here, right? These 4. So I have here my Acuna _ A01 Q1.java. So this is my Java source file for that first question that I did, right? So over here, this file contains this stuff over here. And I can even see that if I go in and I right click and I click edit. So if I do that, I actually open, at least on my computer, it opens up Notepad. And you'll see kind of the file again. So that's where all the code that I wrote is being stored. So that's what's going to need to be stored into. So that's going to be what we need to submit into Blackboard. Okay, so stuff is looking good, right? So let's assume, right, for a moment that maybe you filled out all your homework. You've got BlueJ working. You're able to see all your outputs look good. What do you do, right? You need to get credit for this stuff. What do you do? So let's jump back over to Blackboard. So over in Blackboard, go over here. Okay. So we're back in Blackboard. Couple of things you need to do before you submit. First thing, make sure everything is named properly. For me, right, I kind of started everything off correctly, right? So there's always going to be a format, right? There's always going to be something down here that says submission process. But generally, it's going to look something like this: your last name _ and then the assignment and then the question. So you need to make sure that your files all match that. And if I look over here, right, if I look at my my BlueJ project window, I can see that all mine are matching that format. So that should be good. But on your end, you'll need to make sure that those are all renamed properly. If you need to rename stuff, it's actually kind of really easy in BlueJ. What you'll do is let's say you're over here and I wanted to rename stuff. So let's say I want to call this Acuna A01 Q1. I can actually just do this. I can just rename it over here. I can rename the class. So here I added a B at the end. And if I do compile, it actually changes it over here. And it even changes it in the folder as well. So over here you can see it's been renamed here. So that's the easiest way to rename your stuff. For now, that was the proper name originally, so let me put it back. So I put it back, saved it. I'm actually hitting Control S on the keyboard. You guys can't see it, but I'm saving it every time I change something. It'll save it when you compile anyways, but I just like saving anyway, so I know that it's there. So I got my files, they're named properly. The other thing you guys will need to do is update this stuff here. So I'm asking you for this semester to type in a basic header, right? So there's the basic header here where I want a description of the program, completion time, author, version. And then there's also, I'm suggesting this, I'm not really requiring it, but you should do it if you can, is keep all of your lines relatively short, right? Don't make them span the entire screen. Specifically, make them be only 80 characters long. You know what? Let me actually, before I submit this stuff, let me actually add that appropriate header here, so you guys can just see what the process is. So over here, here's my source code. I've written everything up. I just need to add that header. So let me go to the first line, put in a new space, and I'll start by putting in my my multi-line comment there. So I got it in my stars, and you'll notice that if I just press enter, it'll extend this down. So this is an entire commented out region. All right, so first thing I need to have here is a basic description of my program. Prints out 3 letters in block form, let's say. So that's my description. Completion time. Completion time, what? 1 minute. How about that? So if I can type it, 1 minute. All right. So looking down a little bit, next thing I need is author and version. At author, there we go. Your name. So for me, I would just put myself. So let me put there we go. And then at version, well, this is kind of the first iteration, so I'm just going to put in this as 1.0. And I'm almost good to go. I added in these colons by mistake. Really, those shouldn't be there. Get rid of those. All right, there you go. So this is all we're asking for, right? A very basic comment that gives you a description of what's going on, the completion time, and then the author, which is typically just you. Sometimes if you use code from the book or from what I give you guys, you'll need to put in either my name or the textbook's author's name. But generally, it's just you. And at the end, basically, you're always going to be submitting version 1 to me. All right, let's compile this. Everything still looks good. I didn't mess anything up. So let's go ahead and try submitting this. So over here, I'm on BlackBoard. Let me go over here. So I'm scrolling up. And over here, I have assignment 1.02 programming. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And it's going to bring me up this window here. So this is the submission window in BlackBoard that lets me actually upload files for grading. So scrolling down, you'll see that we have at this bottom part the assignment submission attached file. That's what we need. We want to attach all those files that we wrote and then submit them on BlackBoard. So let me go ahead and click Attach File, browse my computer, and over here it's already in my my project folder, right? If I wasn't here, I would need to go and find the appropriate location, right? In Documents/BlueJ/Assignment 1. So what I'll do is I'll click on the first Java file. Remember that I need the .java. The .class isn't worth any points. The .ctext isn't worth any points. The .bluej isn't worth any points. The .text isn't worth any points. The only thing that's worth points is the .java files, so make sure you get the right ones. All right, so click over here, get the second one, get the third one, get the fourth one. And we're almost done. Here there's a comment box. Please don't use this. If you have comments or questions, either email us or put it in the source code. Basically, this is very, very hard for us to actually get to in BlackBoard when we go to grade your stuff, so we don't always catch your comments here. So please don't use this. Just use your source code or use email or use Piazza. All right, so over here, I've got my 4 files. Everything looks good, and I'll click Submit. And normally, so on your end, it'll give you a little green bar saying it's been submitted. Since I'm using an instructor account, it doesn't let me submit stuff from grading. I don't, as an instructor, I don't have student submission rights. But normally, this would be a little green thing up here. It says, you've submitted assignment 1.02 programming. So, yeah. There we go. That is actually the entire process of doing your homework. Well, not of doing your homework, but of setting up BlueJ, doing a little bit of coding, and then submitting it to us on Blackboard. So once you do this, right, you click submit, you have your 4 files attached, that's going to be turned into us for grading. If at some point you need to correct something, what you need to do is go back to that assignment link again, click it again, and then you're going to reattach everything from scratch, right? So don't just, if you want to update, one file, maybe you found a bug, don't just submit that one file to us, submit all of them again. Because what happens is that Blackboard, basically we only grade the last submission that Blackboard receives. So if you resubmit and you only submit to us one file, then it's going to get rid of all the previous files. So if you do an update, you need to make sure you reattach everything again all at once. And then we'll get all of your work. So say you updated, click submit, and again, right, it's my teacher account, so it's just showing me this error here. But normally it'll show you this green thing saying that, oh yeah, it's been submitted. All right, so that about wraps up for this video. I know I'm got a little bit longer than I anticipated, but hopefully this gives you guys some help, right, with getting that first homework in. All right, so I will see you guys. Well, I won't actually see you guys, but you guys will hear from me again in Chapter 4, right? The Chapter 4 videos are already up, and we'll be hitting those next week. So see you guys later.